Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Brooklyn Technical High School Virtual College Fair. We are so excited to have you participating in this event and have some really fantastic schools here with us today. Each of them is going to have about 6 minutes to share a little bit more about their institution, but they will be around for the entire session to answer questions. My name is Karis, and I will be serving as your facilitator for the night. And so before we get started, I have just a few housekeeping items for you. The first one, you've probably already noticed your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can, however, use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time, and then they will get to those as soon as they can. This is just one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure that you're checking out the schedule on the website. And then finally, this presentation is being recorded and will be available to you at strivescan.com/BrooklynTech. All right, that's all that I have for you all. And so we will go ahead and kick things off with our first institution and presenter of the night, which is SUNY New Paltz.
Hello, everyone. My name is Finelli Valerio. I work for the undergraduate admissions at SUNY New Paltz. I am here just to present a little bit about our college. First thing that we're going to talk about today is going to be about our requirements and what exactly we're looking for in terms of for an application. 90 to 95 GPA is typically what we're looking for. SAT or ACT scores, 1150 to a 1300. Now, the SAT scores for this upcoming year are optional, as well as for juniors and seniors. If you decide to take it anyway, again, 1150 to a 1300 is that sweet spot, or 24 to a 29 for the ACT. And we do participate in super scoring. We want 1 to 3 letters of recommendation. They have to come from an academic source, so someone that knows you from your high school or someone that knows you academically. And the other ones can come from anyone else in your professional or academic life. Last but not least is we need the essay. The essay is a really important part of our application process because it's the only part that lets us know who you are from your own voice. So make it fun, make it interesting. Both the Common App and the SUNY app have different prompts that you can use, but feel free to deviate from that as much as you'd like. Here are our tuition and fees. A yearly total for a New York State resident will sit around $23,000. This is without any scholarships or without financial aid being accounted for. So if you are signing up for financial aid, then this will be very different for you. And if you have received any scholarships outside of SUNY New Paltz, it will also change. We also have a couple of scholarships to give out. If students have a 93 GPA or higher, they are automatically considered for a scholarship. But again, this is not guaranteed. If you apply earlier, you do better your chances because the scholarships are also first come, first served. Here's some spring enrollment deadlines, and early action is due November 15th. The 7-year medical program is due January 15th. EOP would be due April 15th, and the general admission deadline would be May 1st. Now for us, I really recommend students apply October, November, around there, so then that way you get a decision by May 1st, and we receive all of your decisions will be done online through your portal, as well as any communications. So please make sure that you keep your emails professional, your voicemails professional, because we will always be contacting you as decisions get closer, or if we're missing any information, you are our first point of contact, and then we start contacting your school if needed. At SUNY New Paltz, we have over 6,500 students, over 300 clubs and organizations. We are about an hour and a half from New York City, an hour and a half from Albany, which puts us at a really great spot in terms of scholarships and internships and just opportunities overall that we can give to our students. And we have an average classroom size of about 30 students and 15 to 1 faculty to student ratio. I myself went to SUNY New Paltz and I graduated from there in 2018. It was my favorite time of and honestly, in this journey so far, college has been such a great time because you have a chance to really explore all the different majors. We have over 150 different majors on our campus, and it's just very exciting to be around students that really care about their education and care about just the progress that they want for the world and what they want to see for themselves. I think New Paltz is a really great campus for students. We have a lot of students that want to pursue many different things. We actually just opened up our brand new entrepreneurship majors for students that have a variety of interests, and an entrepreneurship major still falls within the business course, which means it's also eligible to be a part of our 4+1 MBA program. So you'd graduate in 4 years with your bachelor's and in 1 year with your master's. We also have a couple of different 4 accelerated programs in computer science and in education, in the science field specifically. So SUNY New Paltz overall, I think, is a great campus for someone that has a variety of interests because we kind of have a little bit of everything. And feel free to let me know if you have any questions at the end of the presentations.
Perfect. All right, up next, we've got SUNY Maritime College.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dana from SUNY Maritime. I actually took a summer course back at SUNY New Paltz when I was an undergrad, and it was one of my favorite courses. So small plug for New Paltz. Okay, so Maritime College is located in the Bronx, New York. So we're right in the city under the Throgs Neck Bridge. We are a very small SUNY. We're a very niche school. So our majors include engineering. We have electrical engineering and we have mechanical engineering. Under the mechanical umbrella, we have different types of mechanical engineering. So there's facilities engineering, which has to do with large buildings, things like hospitals, big apartment buildings, keeping them running. Marine engineering is specifically for working in the engine room of ships, and probably one of the majors where most of our students get hired right out of college at almost six-figure starting salary. We also have naval architecture, which is designing ships. Really cool. You get to work with materials, you get to work with clients, costs, analysis, all sorts of things. We have Bachelor of Science majors as well. So there's everything non-engineering focused. International transportation and trade is our global business major. Those students tend to work in things like marine insurance, cargo space brokerage, anything in the supply chain, from shipping to trains to trucks to the stores that we buy stuff from. Really cool major, lots of opportunities. You don't have to work on the ocean, you can work on land. Marine environmental science is another really cool major. You have the meteorology and oceanography track, and you also have the marine bio track. Marine operations and marine transportation are specifically focused on working on a ship when you graduate, in a business kind of sense, but also very hands-on. We also have maritime studies, which is our humanities major. So lots of literature about the ocean, lots of history, and some policy thrown in. All right, I went through these. Okay, we also have an associate's degree program, again, specifically for working on a ship, but these are smaller vessels. So think like your tugboats and your ferries, where you basically work on the water during the day, go home at night, sleep, do it again the next day. You don't have to ship out long term. They are a little bit over 2 years, but you do get a credential in the form of a license afterwards. And they are limited tonnage and limited horsepower, but are full bachelor's degrees, unlimited licensing if you want that route. We have 2 master's programs as well that you can fast track into during undergrad. Professional experiences is where SUNY Maritime shines, because this is really what gets our students employed so well. We have the U.S. Coast Guard deck license. I should preface this by saying the Coast Guard's not actually like, you're not joining the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard's like the DMV, like they give you the license. So the deck license has everything to do with navigation. So it's a third mate license. You can work your way up to a captain if you want. It's a really cool career. You learn to navigate around different things like weather hazards or charting hazards, things that are under the water that you shouldn't, drive the boat over. And there's also really cool communications between ships. So you get to learn how to do that. The U.S. Coast Guard also provides a separate license called an engine license if you want to work in the engine room of a ship. These are our high paid students. Basically, if you're in the middle of the ocean, nobody's coming to rescue you. You have to make repairs on the fly, make sure you can get to that next port. And that's why you get paid so well. You basically have the whole ship in your team's hands. Professional internships is the option for students who don't want a license, which is totally fine if you don't. You can be a regular college student and do the internship option instead. But no matter what you do, you have to have some sort of professional prep when you graduate. The deck and engine license do require you to be a regimental student, so a cadet. And cadets basically, it's like a kind of like a military lifestyle where you do like a mini boot camp. You have a very structured day. You have to work out and run with your group. And you also have to continue to do well in school, but you also get to like do regimental stuff. And basically that's a Coast Guard requirement for license. but you don't have to join the regiment if you don't want to. Some majors you have to be in, and some you do not. Okay, so C term is really cool. So if you want that license option, then you're looking at summer C terms. There's 3 of them, 75 days each on our training ship. We're actually getting a new training ship, which is bigger and it has a helicopter pad. That's besides point. So currently our students this summer are planning on going to Ireland, Portugal, and Philadelphia. Very fun, very international. All right, we have tons of internships and career options. A lot of companies seek out our students so much that they come to campus to do interviews, like real interviews for real jobs. So the requirements are Bachelor of Engineering. They're going to be like a little bit higher requirements because your average GPA needs to be roughly in the 90 range. We do accept above and below. Your SAT 1240 average, ACT 26 average. We are currently test optional for this upcoming fall of 22. Not sure about the fall of 23 yet. We'll keep you posted on that. But you have to take pre-calculus in high school. For any other major, you're looking at basically like roughly an 88 GPA, an 1190 SAT, and a 25 ACT. We do have the Education Opportunity Program available to those who qualify. Naval ROTC is on campus for those who are interested. And for scholarships, you need to apply prior to February 1. That's everything for me. Standard SUNY tuition. If you have any questions, throw them in the Q&A. Thanks.
All right, up next, we've got University of Rochester.
Hello, good evening. Give me just one moment as I do my screen share. And despite this Zoom life that we have been living, it takes me one quick second. And I'm gonna ask, Karis, would you mind just confirming that you're able to see my screen? Is that okay? Yes, fantastic, thank you. Wonderful. Hi, folks. My name is Erica Badilla. I'm the Regional Associate Director for the New York Metro area for the University of Rochester. My pronouns are she, her. That's a very long way of saying that I'm your counselor at Rochester. I specifically work with all the students that are coming from tech. It also means that I'm close by. I actually live and work in the greater New York City area, so I can be close by to all of you. To kind of lay the framework, University of Rochester is about roughly 6 hours from where you're located in Brooklyn. We're about 3 hours from Toronto in an area of Western New York that's also known as the Finger Lakes region. I like to brag about it because of how natural the beauty is in this area. We have lots of wonderful outdoor green spaces. The campus itself is actually an arboretum. So right now, if you were to visit us, you would actually see something like what you see on your screen right now, or what you see behind me. The cherry blossoms are actually in bloom this time of year at Rochester. On your screen is the River Campus. The River Campus is basically the heartbeat of the University of Rochester. It's home to the College of Arts, Sciences, and Engineering, which is basically all of the undergraduate programs that are offered by Rochester, except for those that are offered by Eastman, which is our School of Music in downtown Rochester. That's about roughly a 10-minute shuttle ride from Rochester's main campus. Actually, the entire area is connected by a network of shuttles that's operated by the university. On the River Campus, we also have our graduate schools of engineering, education, business, with which we have partnerships to offer direct admission for graduate study for those of you out there that are thinking about going on to master's level work. And then across the street, you can't really see it in this picture, is our medical campus, as well as the School of Medicine and Dentistry, with which we also have a partnership. If anybody out there is thinking about becoming a doctor, that's a wonderful way to gain direct entry for graduate study in medicine. At Rochester, we have about roughly 5,500 undergraduate students, most of whom live on campus for all 4 years. Why is that? They want access to all the facilities and all the resources the university has to offer. Fun fact is that the university is actually the largest private employer in our region. A lot of that has to do with the fact that there are a lot of institutes, of course, the healthcare network that are all part of the university. And so that presents students with wonderful opportunities for hands-on experiences. Rochester is a private tier 1 research institution. As an R1 institution, that means there's hundreds of millions of dollars coming into the university for purposes of research and innovation. So for example, we have been a test site for COVID vaccines, and research carries on campus. And that means that the research at Rochester is actually not just offered to graduate students, it's actually available for undergraduate students. We thrive on offering our undergrads access to hands-on opportunities where they too can innovate and create. We have over 300 organizations on campus. They're a wonderful reflection of the diversity that exists at Rochester. We have 140 plus countries represented in every state across the union. What brings everybody together at Rochester, we live by the spirit of Meliora. Meliora means ever better. The idea that everything that we do as members of the Rochester community, be it students, faculty, me as a staff member, is always working towards self-improvement, but then also towards having a positive affect on the human condition and on the human experience. That's where research comes in. Almost 80% of our undergraduate students will participate in research, some of them creating their own original work. But then also, that is where the Rochester curriculum comes in. If you've ever heard of general education or core classes, which are very common at most colleges and universities, probably what I'm about to explain about Rochester is going to sound really out there. We don't have core classes. In fact, if you know what you want to study, or perhaps you don't, you have the ability to explore across the curriculum. Our goal is for every student to be able to really create a program of study that's really reflective of who they are, and also gives them the opportunity to chart their own course. Because we have an open curriculum, it's not uncommon that Rochester students will end up double majoring. Almost half of our students will graduate as double majors. There is one required class, folks, and I'm sorry, you cannot be excused from a writing requirement. Everybody will have to take a writing class. I'm sorry about that. We do have a very strong research component available on campus, which I've spoken about a couple times, but when I talk about research, most of the time what you picture are lab coats and bleakers, kind of like what you see on your screen right now. Research, though, is happening across disciplines. I want you to think about research in the context of just creating, innovating, and that's happening in the arts, that's happening in humanities. We do publish an undergraduate research journal, which is actually an organization that's run by our students. So graduating from Rochester, having been published, is not uncommon at all. On your screen right now are our application cycles. Rochester does have early decision 1 and 2, which are both binding, and then regular decision. We do meet full demonstrated financial need for students. That means that we will require the FAFSA and the CSS profile. With those 2 bits of information, we will determine your demonstrated need and commit to meeting that for the duration of your time at the university. We also do have the Higher Education Opportunity Program for students that qualify. If you have questions about that, please do let me know. And thankfully, we are open for visitors. So we invite you to come to campus and see it for yourself. Of course, we have also a slew of virtual offerings that are still available. And on your screen is also my contact information. I'm your counselor at Rochester, so you'll definitely want to stay in touch with me. And I'm going to toss it right back to Karis to continue with the next presentation. Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right, y'all, we are about halfway through. And so as a reminder, if you have any questions, go ahead, drop those in the Q&A and we will get to them as soon as we can. But up next, we have got Stony Brook University.
Hi, everyone, and good evening. My name is Erin Blair. I am the admissions counselor at Stony Brook University and your representative. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all very quickly. Go ahead and press play on that, baby. All right, so what we're looking at here on the screen are a few of our sites on campus. So our West Campus, which is our main campus, everything you think of when you think of a true college campus, your dining facilities, residence halls, your academic buildings. So our campus just oversees about 1,000 acres with lots of modes of transportation, such as shuttles, buses. We have our LIRR train stop that's right on campus. And then our total enrollment is around 27,000, with about 18,000 students making up our undergraduate population. All right, so we have over 200 academic programs for you all to choose from. About 100 are in the STEM field, but we are so much more than just the STEM school. Majors spanning in history, film, journalism. So some of our more popular majors at Stony Brook are engineering, computer science, psychology, business, and even undecided as well. Average class size is around 500 students. However, you'd only see about 200 in person. Where your core classes would dwindle down to about a 19-to-1 ratio. We do offer some upper division programs at Stony Brook. So our schools of nursing, social welfare, health technology management, medicine, dental medicine programs. So through these programs, you'd be taking the applicable coursework necessary during your first 3 years or so. And then you would apply for admission into these upper division programs that we offer. So at Stony Brook, we do offer many unique programs that give you all as students exposure to language, experiential learning, internships, and much more. So experiential learning is a really big buzzword at Stony Brook, and we really pride ourselves on you all as students immersing yourselves into your collegiate experience. So what I love about Stony Brook is that all of these experiential learning opportunities that you see here, study abroad, internships, research, shadowing experiences, these can all be done as early as your first year, as well as outside of your academic discipline as well. All right, so student engagement, probably the slide you've all been waiting for, because once you get here, what is there to do? So we have a few Stony Brook traditions that happen annually, residential programming opportunities if you live on campus, concerts where artists are coming on and performing for you all, student-led showcases, homecoming events, and much, much more. We have over 350 clubs and organizations for you all to choose from. And then we also have a wide variety of club and intramural sports as well. So living on campus, so it's not required that you live on campus any of the 4 years that you're at Stony Brook. However, there are 3 brand new first-year undergraduate communities. One's in innovation and technology, another in social justice, and then another in global health and awareness. So upon applying for housing, you can choose which one of those communities you kind of resonate with the most, not necessarily associated with your major. So first year students, you would primarily be in corridor style housing, typically paired with one other student, or your upperclassmen years, you can choose to live in suite style or apartment style housing. So looking at the deadlines and procedures for first year apps. So January 15th is our application priority deadline. We don't have early decision or early action. We're on rolling admissions. But that being said, the absolute latest that you could hear back from us regarding your decision is April 1st, with May 1st being when you would submit that deposit. Looking at the materials that we require for first year students. So you can apply online through the Common App, SUNY app, or the Coalition app. You can use whichever application your school recommends. A personal essay is either included with your application or it's a supplement, or it can be uploaded into your applicant portal. Your high school transcript can be sent through the Common App or the SUNY app. It can be emailed to us or even mailed to us. We only require 1 letter of recommendation from a high school teacher or a counselor. We are test optional for all programs for fall 23, except for 2 of our honors programs. Looking at this screen here, there's many pathways into Stony Brook. And so we don't work on minimums. We don't have admissions requirements. What you're looking at is the middle 50% of last year's class. So what were students coming in with that were granted successful admission into Stony Brook with respect to GPA and if they submitted test scores. So first year students were roughly coming in with around a 92 to a 98, with around a 1300 to a 1500 SAT. EOP students, so they were roughly coming in around an 86 to a 92 GPA. And then if they submitted those test scores around a 1070 to an 1170. Important to note that if you're applying EOP, you need to meet both academic and financial eligibility requirements for general admission. And then transfer students. So you need at least 24 credits completed at that previous institution, and then around a 2.8 cumulative GPA. Lastly, so if you're coming in with any high school credits, we do accept AP credit. If you haven't received a 3 or better on the exam, IB credit with a 5 or higher. And then if you're taking any college credits, if you've earned C's or better. And then lastly, wrapping up with tuition, looking at cost of attendance. So tuition is just over $7,000 for the full academic year, with about $3,500 in fees. Should you wish to live on campus, and remember, it's not required, it's around $15,000 for the full academic year. Over 75% of our students, they do receive financial aid, and then about 70% of our students, they do receive some sort of institutional scholarship, need-based, merit-based, or institutional award as well. So as you can see, as a SUNY institution, and I'm sure many of my colleagues here in the event can attest to this, as a SUNY institution, for most of our students, Stony Brook is not only a smart choice academically, but also financially as well. So thank you, everyone. That's all I have for you all. Any questions for me, you can just leave them in the chat.
All right, thank you so much. We will keep things going tonight with SUNY Geneseo.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sabrina Bramwell from SUNY Geneseo, and I will be sharing a little bit about our campus. So SUNY Geneseo is also a part of the SUNY system, as most of my colleagues here are. And I'll be talking about our curriculum, our student engagement, as well as pathways that you can get into Geneseo. So first and foremost, we're really corny. We're a corny institution collectively. We've all decided to be. And we like to say that there's no place like here. There's multiple reasons for saying that, but we'll start with the community factor, because that's something that definitely drew me to Geneseo when I attended and graduated from the class of 2019. So Geneseo as a town is recognized as the National Historic Landmark. There's only 24 of these communities in the entire United States. And what that means is that the town of Geneseo is deemed to have specific historical relevance. And as a result, we can't change the exterior of any of our buildings depicted on Main Street here by law. On the inside, everything is definitely up to date. But as you can see with the oval windows, the brick, the giant fountain, all of these things are deemed to be historically relevant and are upkept in that way. So you get a really charmy feel to the entire town. On Main Street, which is shown here, there are different dining options such as diners, cafes, bakeries, coffee shops, sandwich shops, all locally owned by families that live in the area of Geneseo or the surrounding counties. But we have more larger, well-known spaces as well. So we have a Wegmans, Walmart, Five Below, TJ Maxx, McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, all of those other places that you definitely are more familiar with are there as well. We have a close-knit community with local volunteerism. So our students are giving back to our communities, both naturally and because as an institution, Geneseo values that global learning and being a part of something bigger and contributing positively to the world around them. As an institution, SUNY Geneseo is a part, again, of the SUNY system. We have just under 4,800 students, just above 4,800 students, which makes us technically a medium-sized college, but I like to say that we're medium-ish, small to medium-sized. We're part, one of 64 SUNYs. We have an 18-to-1 student to faculty ratio. And we have awards and rankings, as do many colleges. But one of the ones I like to talk about is that we are the third highest producer of the Fulbright Scholars. So Fulbright Scholars is a program that allows individuals, whether they're in undergraduate or graduate institutions across the United States, to either volunteer, teach, or work abroad in a space. So you get a grant in order to have that impact on a global range. And we are known to produce Fulbright Scholars, which is a pretty competitive program to be a part of. Academically, we are a liberal arts institution. We have about 50 undergraduate programs, so 50 undergraduate degree programs and 27 interdisciplinary minors. We have a school of business as well as a school of education. Because we are liberal arts, which means freedom to study, we do not limit you as to how you can choose your major or how you can choose a minor that accompanies it, how you want to double major. Around 49% of our students are double majoring, and a majority of those students still graduate on time or within that 4 to 6 year period. Around 60% of our graduates are completing some sort of internship or hands-on learning. We value giving you the opportunity to see realistically what your future career or field of interest will look like once you're a part of it. Our School of Business and School of Education, respectively, are some of the programs that students most gravitate to us for, but we do have strong research a lot of research is happening, and because we're predominantly undergraduate, those opportunities are extended to our undergraduate students. This research is not just in the sciences or in any STEM fields, they're in every department, inclusive of dance, English, psychology, and a lot of our students get the opportunity to present these research, their research findings at a national level. And again, because we're a liberal arts institution, your research track and your major track do not have to align. So case in point, I was an English major and I did research in the psychology department for about 2 years and got to present at 2 national conferences. What can you do? So as I said, we're fairly small to medium sized, but our students are doing a lot. On average, each Geneseo student is involved in 3 things outside of class. So whether that's a club, a sport, a job, research, etc., our students are doing a lot. We have over 200 clubs and organizations, 20 varsity Division III sports teams, and programming boards, leadership development programs, etc., etc. We do offer study abroad programs and opportunities. Because we're part of the SUNY system, you are able to get access to over 1,000 programs in 65 different countries. At Geneseo specifically, around 40% of our graduates reported that they studied abroad. This was before the pandemic. Study abroad is hopefully going to reopen this summer. We do offer long-term and short-term study abroad programs. So whether you want to go for 3 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, a year, etc. We do offer on-campus housing and living opportunities. We have living learning communities. So similar to my colleague from Stony Brook, you are able to essentially pick a theme for your residence hall if it resonates with you. It doesn't have to correlate to your major. But if, for instance, you like food, you can live in the food culture house, which also houses our global and international students that come to Geneseo in order to receive their undergraduate degree education. Admissions information. So we do have estimates for admissions deadlines. We do offer early decision, which is a binding decision, meaning if you get accepted through early decision, you're saying that you will attend this institution solely. But we have a regular decision deadline of February 1st. We have multiple ways that students can get admitted to Geneseo. One is through the EOP program. So our EOP program, it is a state-funded program, and students do have to qualify financially as well as academically. We have TRIO, which is a federally funded program, and the Edgar Fellows Honors Program. And this is outside of being regularly admitted. All the materials that are needed are listed here in order to have a full and complete application. And if you have any other specific questions, feel free to ask me in the chat.
All right, and then our final institution of the night is going to be University of Buffalo-SUNY.
Doors. You choose amazing opportunities that will set you apart. You choose a place where life never, ever stands still.
You choose meaningful connections that last a lifetime.
This is your chance to be part of it all. So choose UB. Choose the blue and white.
So welcome. My name is Glenn Taplin, and thank you for joining us tonight, these great institutions that are here presenting to you. What a great opportunity for you to hear and for us to share with you. Again, my name is Glenn from the University of Buffalo. I recruit all of Brooklyn, right? You hear a lot about our school being such a large institute, right? And it is, right? 32,347 students. But the good news is that they're not all in one class at one time, right? You always hear stories about the University of Buffalo just recruiting students for New York State. And as you can see here, that's not so true. We get ourselves around and we spread ourselves ourselves around, right? What a great institution we are, and a great academic excellence programs that are at the University of Buffalo. We are the #1 public institution, state school in New York State, right? And we're also nationally ranked in the top 40 as well. And what's really cool about the University of Buffalo is that one of 66 AAU, the Association of American Universities, that's a very prestigious membership to be a part of, and we're ranked 24th amongst that. And what does that do? Probably nothing for me as a staff member, but as you as a student, you're getting the best and brightest professors to teach you at their discipline. They all want to work at an institution that's an AAU. What are some of the programs that the University of Buffalo have for you? School of Engineering, very, very, very prominent program at the University of Buffalo. They have over 10 engineering programs. A law school, public health. We just built 4 years ago, I think 4 to 5 years ago, our medical center downtown Buffalo in the Buffalo Medical Corridor. We also have nursing, and I think one of the biggest programs, most popular, I would say, is the School of Management, our business program at the University of Buffalo. And I'm going to scan through some of these. What do we offer? 140 different programs at the University of Buffalo, 55 combined, right? Graduate and professional. I like to use my daughter in this instance, who has a 6-year program. She's graduating in May with her MPT, Dr. Taplin, which is pretty cool, which gives you a student an opportunity to learn the campus learn you, know the professors, know who you are, right? How you learn, which is very, very important. Again, we are a major research institute. There are 4 research institutes. Stony Brook is one of them, an excellent school with research as well. Albany, the University of Buffalo, and also Billington as well. Preparing to succeed. Beautiful snapshot of the University of Buffalo. This is our South Campus, also known as Buffalo. Just as a joke, this picture was probably taken yesterday. All that green, okay, my bad. Right, $360 million, right, in scholarships and financial aid. One of the great programs that we started at the University of Buffalo is our Finishing 4, and it is exactly what it says. We want you to graduate in 4. Knowing those students take 5 years to graduate in 4, this program is geared to make sure that you graduate in 4. Campus life, right? I think it's always lit on our campus. Cool thing about our North Campus is this. We have tunnels, right? So in the winter, if it's snowing, rain, or just purely cold outside, you can get around underground just on our North Campus. And when you have to go from one building to another building, you can go through these catwalks right here. So you can walk through several catwalks and get to the other side of the campus. And this is a great picture of our South Campus, also known as Buffalo, one of our dental programs at the far left over here, and this is the library that's on campus. And again, all that green, this picture was probably taken today. We also have our downtown campus at the University of Buffalo. It's our medical corridor. It's for our medical students, built just for our medical students. Over 400 plus clubs and organizations on our campus for you to take advantage of. College can be overwhelming, especially the first 3 to 4 weeks of school. Look into joining a club, an organization. Once you got yourself a little acclimated after that second week, look to join something, right, to take that overwhelming feeling off of you, which I think is really cool in college, right? A whole bunch of dorms on our campus, 5 apartment complexes, dining. There's 35 dining halls, and I do believe I know where they all are. And there's 2 food trucks on our campus. If you call home and say, hey, I didn't get something to eat, shame on you. So many on our campus. The alumni base is huge, right? Just alone, 150,000 in New York State. Sometimes young people, it is not what you know. Sometimes it's who you know. And the alumni grant can be extremely helpful. Great picture of Buffalo, New York. I'm going to skip down a little bit. Maintain good GPA throughout high school. Very important. Extremely important. We look at your 3-year grades and we accumulate those. Right now, we are test optional, right? And we look for a student to be anywhere from a 90 to a 1200. We also have EOP, Educational Opportunity Program, which comes a little bit under the radar at the University at Buffalo. So that is about my time. Coalition, Common App, and the SUNY app are what we look for. Early action is November 15th. Scholarship consideration is December 15th, and regular decision is February 1st. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and ask all of our institutions to go ahead and turn their microphones on, turn their cameras on, and I will get us kicked off with a brief Q&A. The biggest question I have for y'all is, what is one thing you want students to remember about your college?
I guess I will start. I would love for students to remember about SUNY New Paltz is just the amount of possibilities that we have on our campus, because we have such a diverse amount of programs and we are part of 5 different schools with 5 different education systems. We are able to offer students a little bit of everything. So we do not try to pigeonhole you into, because you're X major, you can only do X thing. We really want that education to be expansive for you. And if you are an education major, you can still learn how to do 3D printing, you can still learn how to do photography. And that's really our goal, is to make sure that you learn as much as possible, because who knows what exactly you learn will be very applicable for you in the future.
At Maritime, I really want you to remember that all of our majors have something to do with the ocean, and all of our students tend to be high achieving in either acquiring a job when they graduate or going on to grad school or law school. So I think that's where we shine.
So I wasn't sure if we were doing order. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I would say for SUNY Stony Brook specifically, just the different experiential learning opportunities that you have, and just the uniqueness in that you're not needing to wait until your junior, senior year for different research or internship opportunities. And with that, being outside of your academic discipline too. So just kind of broadening your horizons outside of what are you studying in the classroom, and then applying that to something you just might be passionate about as well, is what I would add for Stony Brook.
For Rochester, do you want to study what you love? We have an open curriculum. The goal is for you to be the kind of scholar that you want to be, and to study the things that you're most passionate about. To not feel as though you're being pressed by core general education requirements that could limit your time in some ways. Because of the flexibility, there's more time to do things like studying abroad or to do research and get involved in more than one research project. Students are engaged to the degree that they can fund their own original work as well. So that's the kind of academic experience that you'd find on campus.
At SUNY Geneseo, something that I would like students to remember is that it is a collaborative space. So because we have such a tight-knit community and we're really trying to help students succeed in whatever field they're interested in or in whatever interests they have, you oftentimes see students studying together, professors studying together, going to a coffee shop instead of being in an office, right, for office hours, things like that. So if you're looking for a community that will both challenge you as well as support you in that challenge, then we're an institution that will do that.
I'm not sure if the feedback is still bad or coming through bad. I think the education at the University of Buffalo is really good. I think it's really on point, but what else is there? I think that everlasting is the friends that you will create, the experiences that you will grab that'll take you for a lifetime, just as well as your education will take you a lifetime. But it's the experience, the friends, the people that you meet, the staff, the camaraderie that you build once you're on a campus and start to enjoy. I think that's well worth taking for a lifetime.
All right, and I'm going to close this out with just one more question, because it looks like we still got a couple things coming in from the Q&A. And so my final question for y'all is, what is one myth about the college admissions process that you would like to debunk?
I can go for real quick. So students who tend to apply to Maritime assume there's some sort of military obligation afterwards when they're applying. There is none. You're a civilian through and through. No military obligation here.
I think I always like to talk about the essay, because a lot of students think that they have to say their worst things that have ever happened to them on an essay. And I just want to make sure you know that does not have to be the case. You can just write about a happy memory or something that you've grown. It's unfortunate because sometimes the moments we grow do come from those very strong hardships, but it could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about the worst thing that's ever happened to you.
If I can piggyback that as well, a lot of students think that we don't read the essays at all. It is extremely important. Writing is a huge part of college, right? So you want your essay to be on point, right? Have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and make them come together, right? Because we do take the time. You take the time to write, I take the time to read.
Sorry, go ahead, Sabrina. Test optional is really optional, folks. There is no loophole, there is no gotcha. It puts the choice in the student's hands. It does mean that whatever decision you make, you want to make sure that you communicate to each institution and verify what the policy and practice is at each school. So it does put the burden of research on your shoulders, but that's why you're here, right? You're starting that process today. The biggest question that I get from students is, what if other students from tech are submitting test scores? Does that put me at a disadvantage? And my answer to that is, don't worry about them, focus on you.
Just to wrap it up, because my colleagues have said everything, but what I would like to add is what we've all echoed is that application process. It is really holistic, right? We're looking at everything. You don't just write an essay and we ignore it. We're reading that essay to make sure we get to know you and see if you'll actually fit into the culture that we've created with our students on our campuses. If you decide to submit test scores, who you ask for your letters of recommendation, right? All of that is considered, and we do look at all of it. So don't take it lightly, but also recognize that we're looking at it in order to see the potential that you'll have on our campus, not to reject you or judge or anything like that. We want to see how well you'll fit in at our schools.
Talk to your admissions counselors. We're here for you. Call us. It makes our day. Oh my goodness. If you're nervous about something, pick up the phone, shoot us an email, ask. We are here for you. That is our role. And we're your advocates, believe it or not. Some people see us as gatekeepers, but we are your advocates and we want you to succeed no matter what you choose.
All right, I think that was a perfect ending to close us out. So I get the honor of saying thank you all so much for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a quick 5-question survey. And so we would appreciate just any feedback you can provide us about your experience tonight. I would also encourage you all to check back on the schedule because we've got one more night of this happening. And then finally, you'll be able to view not only this session's recording, but also all of the other recordings at strivescan.com/BrooklynTech. All right, that's all that I got for y'all. Enjoy the rest of your night and we'll see you later. All right, bye.